Hi, it's Heather, and I'm so glad you're here. We've renamed our podcast Health, Harmony, and Heather to reflect my passion for enriching our perspectives on life by exploring social phenomena, the human condition, and our abilities to connect with ourselves, each other, and the planet. We'll talk about all forms of health, from the physical, mental, and spiritual, and we'll hear from experts that take us closer to living harmoniously. We will explore all things that lead us to our innermost truth, happiness, and freedom. Join me and take the ride. My next guest, Kim Gravel, is a wildly successful entrepreneur, television personality, motivational speaker, author, life coach, podcast, and leader in fashion and the beauty industry, and host of several #1 shows on QVC. Kim has grown her brands from zero to hundreds of millions of dollars in sales. Let me just say this. The minute she says, hey, y'all, you can feel her authentic personality shining through. And I am so excited to have you here with me today, my friend Kim. Welcome.
Honey, I am so excited. I cannot. First of all, when I had you on my podcast, I was like, oh, she's my kind of people. You know what I mean?
For sure.
You're just New York. I'm Southern. I just say, hey, y'all, and bless your heart. And you just say, forget about it. Whatever, whatever the New Yorkers say.
Exactly. And I love how we're like, you're me today and I'm you. Like I wore leopard for you and you wore like a hoodie. You're like the Berkshire Heather and I'm like the classy Kim today.
I love it. Like I said, we are the same people.
Literally cut from some different. You're my sister from another mister.
Another mister. That's right.
I love it because I believe that our shine really does come from our pain. It's come from the places that we've had to go deep as women. I think it's one of the things that we connect on just easily. Like I see you, I know you, like I see you. And there's deep growth and evolution in shine. Yeah. And some people just have it because their souls are old and they've been journeying through and they're at this peace. And they're just those people that are electric to be around in some sort of way that isn't like you and me, like in your face, but just a calm presence. And then there's people like you and I feel like that are evolving our souls a great deal on this human journey through suffering and triumph, through success and tribulation. So let's talk a little bit about you, Kimmy, and how you began, and talk about your earlier life.
Well, there's so much truth to what you just said, because that's the one thing I think all of us, humankind, human beings have in common, is that we are going to experience pain. Yeah. Like, period. Like there is no charmed life where and who knows what it is. I mean, I grew up in a wonderful household with 2 loving parents, but, they always talked about pain. Although, I didn't have a traumatic divorce situation in my home. I didn't have but my parents always shot me straight down the barrel. They would just tell me like it is. And just, I just remember from my youngest moments of my dad saying, life is really hard. It's hard. And so to come at life like it is charmed or going to be easy is a foolish game, because it's not the case. And so even though I didn't go through trauma or really hard childhood, I was always talked to, treated like, and told the absolute raw truth about people, places, and things. I mean, and honestly, that is what I think that's what gives me the confidence today. Because I just remember growing up, my dad used to always say, look, everybody puts their drawers on just like everybody else. Ain't nobody better. I don't care how much money they got. I don't care how much education they have. In your knower what is right. Go with the gut. I mean, so they were always talking straight to me. And I remember there was times where my dad, and my husband's like this too. Don't mess with that person. Don't do it. Something ain't right. You know what I'm saying? Like, so always I've never been treated like a Polly princess. I've always been treated like almost like you said, an old soul, an adult, even when I was little and young.
Right. Yeah. And I think when sometimes
I lost some of the, but I want to say this because Heather, I feel like sometimes I lost some of the romance and the whimsy of my childhood, but looking back, I'm so glad I went through it. I'm so glad my parents did that to me and, taught me how to, toughen up a little bit young.
Yeah, I was going to say, I think that's the bottom line is that we have to, we're a product of our parents, right? And we have to give credit where credit's due. And then we have to say, wow, yeah, that shaped me in who I was. And I think, there's a lot of people a lot of parents that try to shield their children. They don't want them to, we all try to shield but nobody wants to see their child hurt or in pain. But the bottom line is that we all are going to go through it, and you can't shield them from too long because you're going to do them a disservice, right? And I wanted to talk about your years in the pageants, at 19 years old. I mean, I think the shine and the confidence, came from the hard knocks also that you were in competing with other women in a really challenging environment. And in the South, you guys, those of you who aren't from there, don't know much about it. This is some serious shit. Okay.
This is Super Bowl level.
Yeah. It's the Super Bowl of beauty. And let's talk a little bit about that.
Well, I did pageants. I was not the prettiest girl. I was always kind of an ugly duckling that, did well with what she had. But I did pageants because I'm
calling bullshit on that.
No, I'm serious. No, God bless. I mean, I have looked 40 since I was 16. So, I mean, I've grown into it. But like for me is pageants was a place for me to speak my mind. It wasn't necessarily about how I looked. And also a place to display my talent. We didn't have back in the day American Idol. Women didn't have a lot of places to really compete. I mean, I was clearly not athletic. So it was a place for me to sing and speak and have opinions and create my voice. I'm so grateful for that time because I think one of the most important things, especially for young girls, is to find her voice. You and I really are simpatico in that. I think you know who you are and why you're here, and you have no problem speaking it. Same with me. But I remember a time where that was developing and I wasn't so secure and confident. So pageants for me let me experience life and people and opinions and things and help me sharpen that communication skill, which I think we desperately.
And
I'm going to girl.
So refreshing. You guys, what you just said to me is so unbelievably refreshing and poignant because we're all going to judge, right? Everybody's got the judgment of like, oh, the pageant and all that kind of stuff. And like, right?
Whatever.
But let me say this. What you just said is so beautiful. I went because it was a place where I had a platform as a young woman to use my voice. Unbelievable. And I don't think I ever thought about that once when it came to a pageant. I got to be honest. And sure, you got to be articulate and you got to be able to do all this stuff, but that's a different story. And to go into it for that reason and now sit in front of you as knowing who you are and what you were going to do after that is pretty incredible. Let's move on. And please let me go back to the pageants and empowering women, because it's kind of, I think, where that started for you in the leadership positions that you held at the pageant. You started to lift up yourself, and then you started to understand how to empower other women. But it was also through your own voice in your marriage, right? When you had to make some decisions about where you stood in your own life, in your own path. Can we talk about some of that?
You talk about my first marriage?
Yes.
The ended in divorce? Okay, well, honey, look, that was a mistake that should have never happened because my mom and dad sat me down. Again, they're such straight shooters, and they're like, this is foolish. This is not going to work. You're never going to my mom looked at him and said, she'll never live with you. I know my daughter. But I was not, I'm glad, looking back, I'm glad that it turned out the way it did. And God really had his hand on it. He works all things together for the good. So he did that for me. But that was a time where I thought my power, my purpose, and my reason for being was outside of myself. Meaning I was going to have to go find something to put inside of me to make it whole. And when we were talking about the pageants earlier, I feel like that's why I do what I do today. It's not just to make a lot of money and to do this and to be on TV. Who cares? All of that is just, it's nice. Hey, I'll take it.
It's a
but
piece of it.
It's a piece of it. But I want young women in particularly to get what I got in my mid 40s earlier. And it is that there is no one smarter, more accomplished, more talented, more beautiful than you. They might be just as much so, but you have everything you need that's been given to you by God to do everything you are supposed to do on this earth. You don't have to go find it. All you've got to do is refine it. You talk about shine, and you're saying shine. I love how you said shine. It takes work. It takes polish. It takes a refiner's fire. And so, yes, you're going to have to take those gifts and those talents and those purposes and work at it and refine it and hone it and shine it up. But you don't have to go find it outside of yourself. Everything we need is inside of us. And so the reason we experience pain, I believe, is because we're out looking for something to fulfill us. Mm-hmm. And that's what I did with my divorce. I looked for that man and honestly, it was nothing to do with love. It was everything to do with, this is the next step to get me to the next step.
Right.
But I didn't need him to do that. I could have done it all on my own.
Right. But we're
that makes sense.
It makes perfect sense. And it's exactly what I wanted to talk about, because the second time around for you, you went at your marriage in such a different way, and the outcome has been so different. And that's the whole point of trial and error, of what I call failing fast, and what we have to call growth, right? We have to call it growth, because I've gone through this too, especially with my own daughter and my son. My daughter's 18, my son is 20. At 55, I wanted to make sure, and definitely in my 40s, I felt this. I had all this wisdom, and I was going to capsulate it somehow where I could send it in silver bullets to all the young women, and they would catch it, and they would have all this wisdom, right? And I would use social media, and I would use my voice, and I'd use my platform. And what I recognized is
you even did that on Real Housewives. You tried to do that on Real Housewives. You did.
Definitely. And some people catch it and they're like, oh, that's inspiring, and it's going to lead me another way. But most of the time, we got to go through it. We got to go through it. There's no way to avoid the pain because you're mentioning God and you're mentioning a higher power, the cosmos, the universe. The plan is in play, right? We need to listen. We need to learn, right? When we make the mistake. And that's why I want to talk about it. Like, your first marriage, like you said, you didn't maybe listen to your parents who had been wise to you. You certainly didn't listen to your own intuition, because you already knew what you had, especially with your work in pageants, but you still went after it because we are conditioned to think that other people complete us, that the job, the task, the husband, the wife, the best friend complete us. There's people that literally can't be alone. Let's talk a little bit about how do you grab onto the lesson, Kim? How do you know? How do you listen? That's what we have to tell the 40-year-olds and younger. How do you listen to your intuition? How can you help us tune into that? I know you lean so heavily into God and Jesus, and you hear their messages, and I go into nature and I get the message outside. You know, it's like whatever your mountain is, you know, for you to connect with the one. Let's talk about a little bit. How do people fail fast? Because that's the hard part.
It's the hard part, but it's so true. And a lot of times we hear, but we don't listen. And they're two different things. Yes. I am thick-headed. So for me, sometimes I've got to be knocked upside the head, you know, with the pebble, then the brick, and then the whole house comes down. So there is a difference between hearing and listening. I'm dealing with it right now with my youngest son, and I've watched him make the same mistakes in different ways, but still the same mistake over and over and over again. And so finally the other day, I said to him, I said, what have you learned? And finally, because I ask him that all the time, finally he had the right answer, meaning he said, I know it was just a situation. I won't get into it, but he said the thing that I was like, finally, he gets it. Right. Sometimes it just takes us a minute because we love, especially women, to complicate the mess out of something. If it's simple and easy, it must not be right.
Right.
But the 9 times out of 10, the amazing opportunities, people, even the best meal. I mean, just the most amazing things that have happened in my life have been so simple.
Yeah.
And
Unplanned,
easy.
sometimes uncomplicated, the best thing ever.
It just happens. And I think a lot of times we are so like a dog with a bone and we're like, go, achieve, perform, that we don't just rest in the fact that it will come to us. Everything we need will come to us. Everything that is God's economy. I say it all the time.
Right.
We are working. Instead of working on ourselves to be the best we can be when the opportunity comes to us, we go out there and work ourselves to the bone to try to be something we're not, try to achieve and get an opportunity that probably isn't ours.
Right. God, that's so poignant because it's like really the marathon versus the sprint. And life is short, right? But life is long and it's beautiful.
It's long.
And A-type personality. I mean, I'm always constantly running. I never sit back for the marathon. And, this new inn that I, just reopened, the music venue. This is the hardest startup I've ever done because it's so physical. You can look at it. You want to make everything perfect. All the rooms have to be perfect. Everything has to be perfect right away. But this is a house from the 1700s. This thing has been evolving for centuries and
a long time.
Centuries. And so I need to slowly move into the evolution and realize that everything doesn't have to be perfect right away because what we see and what other people see really are different. We're always the hardest on ourselves. And it reminds me of your book, Collecting Confidence. You know what I mean? Like we have to collect our confidence along the way.
It takes time. It takes time.
And it really, a lot of it comes not really about how you hit the mat because we're all going to go down, but how do you get back up? And that's where let's talk about that.
Yeah. Well, I think there's a process in purpose in this chase of perfectionism because we're all doing it. Every single, I don't know why. I mean, people say we're conditioned or whatever. I don't know. I think it's even more than that. And that's a whole nother beast to even talk about that.
The
but
perfectionist podcast. We'll do that one next.
Yeah, I know. I'm not kidding because it's like innate in human beings to not make mistakes, and not be perfect. But that truly is where the uniqueness and the beauty lies. It's our brokenness and our imperfections. And I say this because I'm a woman of faith that we are made whole in him, because I do believe there's a bigness in our lives that we know innately are born with. We know that is out there. And we think we have to be perfect to achieve it or have it.
Yes.
And it's quite the opposite. We need to just be ourselves and our authentic selves, which is imperfection, and let him be that perfect thing within us. And I know that's a deep thing. And a lot of people are going, oh my God, this girl is the holy roller. And I'm really not.
You call it love, right? You can call it what's love. It always comes back to that. I call it a
void. Yeah, it's this void. And we think if we're perfect, the void will be filled. But it's the imperfections of who we are that he comes in and fills it and makes us whole. It's the wholeness we're looking for. But you can't perform or achieve or be perfect enough to have that void filled. That is a dream. That is a thing you'll never be able to satisfy.
Yeah.
It'll never happen.
Whether it's self-doubt or whether it's just lying all the time because you never feel like you're enough, or we all have idiosyncrasies, that we're gonna have with us throughout our lives.
Struggle with. Yes.
And, I call them like Ram Dass did, like my children. I'm like, there they are in certain situations. I'm like, of course, there you're hanging on. Ego, you're going to show up.
But Heather, the thing is though, like, and that's good. That's okay.
Good. Yes.
And the fact that that you and I and whomever can say those things out loud, like I just, I do live social selling for a living, and I just recorded this masterclass about it. And I said, you have to solve for a pain point with products and people,
Yes.
but the pain point is the thing that connects us all.
Isn't it?
That's the thing we all experience. And the mistakes and the things that we hang on to, like you said, like, lying to make yourself look better, or, divorces or whatever.
Yeah.
When you speak that stuff out loud, that's the actual stuff that connects you. That's what makes people really believe you and be authentic. So I call it the good stuff.
Mm-hmm.
That's I know that sounds weird because it shouldn't be like that, but like I've talked to so many people who have been in jail, because I used to go speak in a lot of prisons, and the shame that they carried, and I'm like, no, what are you going to do with this?
Mm-hmm.
What are you going to do with the mistakes you've made? Are you going to make it a message, or are you just going to live in the mess?
It's beautiful.
The mess is where we all can relate to one another.
Right.
I hope I'm not just talking like weirdo stuff.
Right. The message comes out of the mess. Yeah.
It's it. I'm telling you, that is where the good stuff is. The imperfections are the good things.
Yeah.
It's the sweet
really
stuff.
Are. They mold us. They teach us so many deep lessons. They connect us, you have a secret power of connection. I mean, for those of you who have never seen Kim on QVC, I don't know where you live, but get out from under your rock and go and see her, because it's, yes, you make amazing clothes and you get it, and you understand women, and you have the thing, but you also connect to people, and that's a gift. You have an essence of connection. Let's talk about that, because it's a superpower. And why is it a superpower? Because we all want to belong.
Want it.
We do. Want to be wanted. We want to have we want to be seen. That's when I find myself the most triggered as a woman, as my Aries female, Heather 50.
Right.
Is when I feel like I am talking real well and I'm communicating real clear, and I am not being seen. I am not being heard. There's a frustration in that for me, because I work really hard at clear communication, that I can find myself hitting the deep end real quick. Like that's my impatience is like 0 to 60, like not fucking listening to me.
I know. Girl, honey, you preaching to the choir here.
Right. Right. So the power of the connection, like the superpower is, I think, to avoid the trigger, to be able to have someone not connect, not do what you need them to do, and not be like, why aren't you listening to me? But say, like Kim Girl, like, honey, you need to back up a second and try to listen to me a little better. Like, how do you find that calmness that you have in your connection? It's a confidence. It's like a superpower.
That's a great question. And I appreciate all those kind words. I think it's because I'm not a performer.
Right.
I'm just me, and I'm really, which is not that great, but it's pretty good. I know it's unique and one of a kind. I do know that, because I just know there's no one like me. There's no one like you. There's no one like whoever's listening to this. There's no one like you. And I get that. So, but I also get that about the other person who's on the other side of what I'm saying. And I will tell you, this might be totally, in a world where it's so polarizing, in a world where we are so divisive and we're divided that's why I hate politics. It's just, it's a big business that just is totally divisive. And the truth of the matter is, we're all the same in different ways. Yeah. That's the honest to God truth. We are more alike than we are different. Am I going to agree with everything you say, or you're going to agree with everything I think and feel? No, but the truth of the matter is that when I'm talking to somebody or listening to somebody, I understand. I see it through their lens. So when I had to really work at that.
Yeah.
Because I never want anyone not to feel heard and misunderstood. And I'm not perfect at it all, because I got a hot temper. I will light it up.
Me too.
And then I have to go back and go, I'm so sorry. I'm such an idiot. I shouldn't have done that. Blah, 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 blah. This is why I did it. I shouldn't have took it out on you. Whatever.
Right.
I'm a human being for sure. I'm not evolved and arrived. But I do know that we are in the people business, Heather. We're not in a product business. We're not in a podcast business. We're not, it's about people. And we've lost sight of that in a world where we're completely connected at a drop of a button or a click of a button. But we're so unconnected in so many ways.
Yeah, instead
more
of being
so than
connected,
ever.
we're just trying to keep up.
We're just trying to get her done.
Keeping up. And you need to stop keeping up and start to slow down and reconnect.
The many different people I have met that are completely opposite or different than me. I have, when I went into prisons and talked to these people, no wonder they are where they are.
Yes. I mean, who's really
I'm serious.
Person or society? Let's be honest here.
And some of them need to stay there. I'm not saying they need to get out.
Sure.
I'm just saying that, like, when you look at things, punishment's punishment, consequences are consequences, but it's how we view each other. Mm-hmm. That's how I can connect, is because I see a person, as a human being, and not what they do or say. We're not what we do or say. That's my whole bottom line.
I love this. It's so important because we don't look past the person, right? You see someone in prison, right away the judgment is, oh, they've done something bad, they're in prison, they're rotten. No, but do you have any idea what this person's life was like? Do you have any idea what his child or her childhood or what society has done? Or then there's also just mistakes, rage, there's mental illness, there's all that stuff. But I think a lot of times society create it, quite frankly.
But I'm going to pull my dad. My dad would say, I could just hear my dad's voice right now. He would just say, yeah, a lot of them are pretty crappy. They done some stupid stuff and they are bad, but they're still people.
They're still people.
And that is, again, the punishment is the punishment. Mm-hmm. I say it to my kids all the time. You did the crime, you got to pay the time, but but that's not who you are.
Right.
You still got to pay the time, but that's not who you are.
Yeah.
So you got to do your time and be who you are.
The power of the connection of seeing people
and
understanding human design. I just had someone on my podcast about this, or you can look at astrology. You can look at, you can look at health and nutrition like I do. Like you said, we are bio individual. There's nobody like you. There's nobody like me. There's nobody. We are unique. And our journey is unique here. And everybody has a purpose. And, you've done it we've both been on we've both been on shopping television selling. We've both been on reality shows, we've been on social media. We've had to develop thick skin and understand the outside world and how if I took everything that people said about me, that bad and good, hello.
Right.
Personally, I could either have the hugest ego or think I was the biggest loser in the world. Right. You can't go through life like that, judging yourself on other people's opinions. And I have it tattooed on my wrist right here that says new day in Sanskrit, new day. Just like your daddy said, everybody gets the next day to make the chance. What do you do with it? So tomorrow's the new day.
Well, and the thing about the new day, I love that, because the thing about the new day is the more you capitalize on that, the more you receive that, the more you believe that, the more days like that you have. It compounds. Yeah. Like it compounds. It's like compound interest when you do investments. Yeah. Like, it doesn't take $1 million to make $1 million. It only takes the first $10 you save. So and so when you wake up with, and the thing is, like with my son in college, because I'm going through this, I have an 18-year-old and a 16-year-old. So we're kind of like the same, like age jump. And so do I think he needs to go to college? No. Do I believe college is everything? I do not.
Right.
But you need to learn how to get up, wipe your own toilet, clean your own clothes, feed yourself, fail in a class, figure out how to negotiate to get because he's got 2 Fs in one of his classes.
College is life experience.
I said, and he goes, he has a straight A student. He's like, oh my God, I'm not going to be able to play in the tennis game. I said, well, go negotiate. He said, he already said I couldn't do it. I said, figure it out. Yeah. Beg him for mercy. Do whatever you got to do. Make it work. Yes. So it's like, it's about the life experiences that we have. But back to the compound interest. And the more you take advantage of the opportunities of growth and of being able to move past or move past the pain or jump those hurdles that we're all going to have, the more compound interest in life's opportunities you're going to have.
Yes. You got to accept
Does that make
it, right?
sense?
It makes so much sense.
I was on doing this talk show with this person, and this woman, she's absolutely gorgeous. She's still on TV a lot, and I love her to death. And she was just like, oh, being a mother is the best thing ever. I love it so much. And Heather, I swear, I was sitting there, I forgot we were taping a TV show, and I said, is the best thing? Like, it just came out my mouth. And I was like, I think it's the most important thing, but I wouldn't say it's the best thing ever. Right. And before I could catch myself, and it is, but it's so true, because you're talking about the unconditional love of your
being a parent.
It's the truth, girl. It is the hardest.
It's the hardest job you'll ever have.
I swear to you, it's exhausting.
It's exhausting. It's emotional.
And I love it.
You doubt yourself. I love it. Your kids can make you feel the most insecure than anybody else in the world. I
feel like a wet dish rag about 98% of the time.
Me too. And then it's also phases. We have to learn, right? The kids are going through development phases, and we have to understand that we have to have a podcast about this, because it drives me nuts. I believe it's the one thing that we have really universally the most in common is parenting. I know people sometimes choose or cannot have children, but generally speaking,
it's the hardest.
It is. And the most universal thing we have in common, and we do not share or talk about it enough. But having a child is a choice. It's not the right choice for everybody. We should really talk about that, because, it's like telling us like it's the cookie cutter. No, you're supposed to get married. You're supposed to have 2.5 kids. You're supposed to have a dog and a cat, and you're supposed to earn this much, and you're supposed to do this, and you're supposed to do that. Bullshit. What do you feel? What do you want? What speaks to you in this journey?
And Heather, what, because I mean, it's kind of going back to the lines of how we started the podcast, but like my kids, they're like our hearts walking outside of ourselves. But the things that make me so angry and frustrated, and the things I really can't stand about being a parent, are the things that are total like flaws in me.
Right.
Like the things that drive. Oh my God, Heather.
Me too, girl.
I caught myself just like to my oldest son. I'm thinking, oh my God, that is so me.
Yeah.
Like it's a reflection of my flaws. Yeah. And I think when I recognize that, we're like, when you have an animal, like I said, it's just unconditional, but that my children have taught me the really crappiest parts of myself. Right. And that pisses me off.
Right. But here's the beauty of it, that you recognize it, that you acknowledge it.
Girl, it has set me free.
Yeah. And you're going to set them free, and you're going to release ancestral burden on them. And
amen.
Fines. We're releasing it.
I'm more gracious to them. Yes. I have more grace, because I'm like, oh my gosh, I need to be kinder to myself in that way. I'm telling y'all, there's somebody listening now that is in the bondage of shame and blame. Definitely. And I've been in my my life. And when I saw it in my son, I was like, I need to back off. Right. And I need to be good to myself. I need to back off and love him. And I need to do the same to myself in this particular area. Because I'm like, don't repeat it. Don't repeat what I've done.
Well, the beautiful thing about it is they're repeating some of our behaviors, right? And they're still young. And if you're acknowledging that
totally
behavior, the minute you start to change it, they are still watching. You're still totally affecting them.
You're right.
I was one of those people in a fight. I walk out. No. I walk out. I leave the room. And it's like the dumb, childish, stupid thing. You're like turning your back on someone because you're not getting your own way. You're not getting heard. So I would leave. And it used to be, I thought, a deflection so I could calm down. But it really just became me walking out because I wasn't hearing what I wanted. Right. Well, both of my kids do it. My daughter especially. I'm like, I'm talking to you. I'm done with this conversation. There's nothing good coming out of this any further. I'm out of this conversation. I'm like, what the heck? So she gave it right back to me. Well, she's 18, God willing. I can do better. And I can now be a better reflection for her. So we can always catch ourselves, just like you said about the prisoners or anybody who's made mistakes in life. You always have a chance to redeem.
But don't you see the simplicity in that? That's what I'm saying. We overcomplicate stuff. Right. We make it it's so simple.
Yep.
I read a story about a guy who was passing away. He was a young gentleman. I think he was like in his teens or early 20s. And his mother was holding his hand at his bedside. And as he was passing, taking his last breaths, he looked at his mother and said, "It's so simple."
Oh,
And I thought, when I read that, Heather, I thought, he's right.
Mhm.
We complicate the mess out of I do. I can only speak for me.
Well, look at the world around us. All you have to do is open your eyes and look, around us. It's a fucking mess. And
It's a
why?
mess.
And most of the reason is, why aren't you more like me? Why can't you be more like me? Be more like me, think like me,
Correct.
be like me, look like me, talk like me, walk like
Yes.
me. No, how could we ever have been conditioned to that when you and I started this podcast, that we're all completely different,
Completely different.
individually unique? Hallelujah. I
Do you
think we
see what
just
I'm saying?
saved the world. Exactly. Just
Okay. Well, I
simplify.
mean, I'll vote for you. I'll be
vote
your
for
running
you.
mate.
Come on, let's just, we want duality in president. We don't want two. We want two now, not just one. Two presidents. And then we'll
I
get
just
four
look,
vice
I would never
presidents.
do that job.
Me
I pray
either.
for who was ever in that
I
hot
pray
seat,
for
because that's a
everybody
job.
in politics.
Oh, me too.
You know what I pray actually for people in politics? I pray that they can be better, do better, see better, act better. Not all of them, because there's people that work hard, but generally speaking, we are so not looking at each other as human beings. And we're so like, why aren't you more like me? Why aren't you more like me? And we have to stop all that. And I just want to keep looking through the lens of these eyes right into the heart of people. And giving them all just a chance. I don't have to like everybody. Everybody don't have to like me, but I respect everybody's human journey. That's a plan.
Me too.
You have to.
And I love everybody. I might
too.
not like everybody, but I love them. And I'll tell you this, everybody has a purpose. Everybody has a reason for being. And that's why we're always searching. Search no more. Just get quiet and just let that still small voice speak. And listen to it and trust that voice. And can I say to everybody listening, and you can back me up, Heather, no one can hear that voice but you, for you. Don't wait for somebody to tell you what to do.
That's right.
Or how to do it. I'm telling y'all.
It's there.
You know what to do. It's there.
Yes.
Girl, if I don't know anything, I know that.
I agree with it. It brings me back to Ram Dass again, one of his teachings, and it's really poignant. And you got to think about this one. And it's just what you said. His Bodhisattva said to him, love everyone and tell the truth. That was the wisdom that he gave Ram Dass. And Ram Dass is like, but I don't love everybody and I don't want to always tell the truth. But if you think about that in the form that you're saying, through time and patience, and not like, oh, love everybody and tell the truth. Okay. No, really act on that in your life every day and see how difficult that is. And then act on it and see how simple it is, right? It becomes difficult at the beginning, but and so what Ram Dass did is he put the people he didn't like. At the time, he was a liberal. There was a lot of politics happening and he didn't like it. So he would put on his puja table, which was like his prayer table, pictures of his Bodhisattva, who he loved with all of his heart, and then pictures of people he didn't like at all, like hated, he felt in his heart. And he had to praise them and love them the same way. And that was the way that he started to learn.
The thing that pops me off and that makes me hot under the collar the most about my kids are the problems that I have with myself.
Yes. So we all have them, kids.
So
you're not alone. We're all a little messed up, thank God. Literally.
Do you see what I'm saying? Do you know what I'm saying?
I know exactly what you're saying. And I mean, first of all, part 2, please, because I want to just get into, I get to enjoy you like this. And I want people to enjoy you when they're not listening to the podcast. You've written books. I want them to go watch Belle on QVC, look at what you design and what you bring to the public. Can you just talk a little bit before we run out of time about what I want to talk about your book, I have to talk about the new book. I actually want to invite you. I would love for you to come to my new inn and live music venue and maybe do a children's reading, something really
I would love it.
amazing for the community. I want to invite you to do something like this. I love what you do. So just bring us back to a little bit about where we can find you, what's going on in QVC. Tell us what to be tuning in on, what's hot this season. Give us a little bit in the beauty and the fashion world, because so deep and serious and full of love. I want to now bring it out into some of the ways that you and I as women and as artists have been able to show our hearts and our, because you didn't do this because you were like, oh, all we need is another button down shirt. You did it because you felt you could make a difference, that you can help. Those are always the words that I do. I think I can help. I feel like I can make a difference. Now I'm in.
Well, this is the whole thing about it. When you are really simple, still, and quiet, your cup will runneth over. Like, we always think we got to have the best ideas and the best technology and the best. It's really not. Again, it's so simple. Those will come out of you once you feel fulfilled in who you are and why you're here. So for me, creating products has been, I never thought I would be a author or write children's books. I don't even like to read all that much. I mean, I've just started reading a little bit more, much less writing. So it's like, but when you are filled up with what God has for you, it overflows. Mm-hmm. And I'm talking about in a real way. I'm not talking about this bullcrap way that I'm not talking about organized religion, although I go to church all the time. I'm talking about really when you get still and you know who you are, your cup will run over. And so when I started the fashion brand at QVC, I just had one little gene. And of course, I've always been a driven person, but I've never been purposefully driven. It's always just been like, I run into it. It just happens. It just comes to my mind and I just do it. And there's a beauty in that. There's a beauty in the simplicity and almost, ignorance is bliss. It's almost that kind of way in developing different products and stuff.
We're doing it.
So the more, right. You are doing it, girl. Cause you're like, what the crap how did I get here? But that's what we're talking about. That's that opening up yourself to receive whatever he has for you. And it will compound and get bigger and bigger. So, the new little book, Maribel in the Manger, I'll never forget how it came. It's about, it's the story, the birth of Jesus, why we celebrate Christmas. However, it's not that story. Right. The story is about how 5 friends, these woodland animals, are journeying to go to the biggest birthday party ever. And so they're getting dressed up and they're figuring out, and they don't know how to get there. And all 5 of the friends use their gifts and talents to get each other to the party. And it has just been going like gangbusters because that we can all relate to. We all need each other. Yes. We all need, the Michael J, who's the fox, he's the one who's the fastest. And then the Albert, who's the owl, he's the wisest to get him there. And Harriet, the hare. I mean, so like all of the little animals are using their God-given talents to get to this birthday party, and they do it together. It's just a really, really interesting take.
Individual talent that each one shares collectively brings them.
Correct.
And that's really the most amazing message, that we don't need someone to complete us, but we always need someone there along the way to enjoy with, to revel in, to be sorrowful,
to create a life
with. Exactly. I mean, we need humans. Humans need humans. So we also
that's why we're here,
and we need you. Exactly. So tell us when's your next show? When are you back on QVC?
I'm on QVC every week, Wednesdays and
so every
Saturdays.
Week, that's what I figured.
And then, KimGravel.com. You can get the book at MaribelInTheManger.com. Just look, I just want to encourage everybody to get busy about what you are made to do and who you're made to be. If we did that, if that one little thing, everything would change.
Yes.
The whole world would change. We need more of who you really are. Yes. I say that to everybody I meet.
I love that. We need more of who you really are. So do the work and find out who it is, because you do know the answers. You know who you are and you know what you want to do. So get out there and do it. And let's stop doing things we don't want to do. I always say, if you do what you love, you're always going to be good at it. It's not that you might not fail or make mistakes or, hit the mat. But if you go with your heart and you go toward what you love, it's only a job or work if there's someplace else you'd rather be. Just creating things, building things, community,
You'll get there.
opportunity is in everybody's reach, not
It
just
is.
this blue-eyed beauty
For the
sitting here
few.
in front of me.
It's not just for the few, it's for the everybody.
For the everybody. And everybody has their own path. And you know what I mean? Like, that's the other thing. Like, sometimes people are in awe, right, of A-type personalities, but I'm in awe of like the quiet scholar.
Oh, me
You
too.
know what I mean? Like, I'm in awe, like you said, like, I wish I could sit down and read War and Peace. It ain't happening.
I can't.
It ain't happening. So I'll get the audiobook and I'll maybe get through that. But,
Right.
I mean,
Maybe. Maybe. I can't promise you that.
Look at my balloons going up. I wonder what that's all about. Well, listen, Kim Gravel, we are so happy to have you. So just kimgravel.com.
That's it. All social media, Kim Gravel. Just hit me up, y'all. Hit me up. Love to hear from you.
And I'm going to talk to you about, because I've been wanting you to come to the inn. And I've been wanting to do these family things. And so I think Mirabelle in the Manger is a beautiful Christmas story. And I don't know what your holidays are looking like, girl, but we're not that far apart. And I'm going to hopefully be down at QVC soon too. I'm still working on my meetings. You know how that's going there. So
honey, we'll meet to death. They'll meet everybody to death, but QVC needs you. That's a home for you, honey.
So excited about it because again, like I think I got something here. And
I'm totally got something
excited for it. And I miss it. I do miss it. I miss being around you, people like you and the personality and the hosts that we work with. And
it's a family.
It's a family and I love it. So I missed you there and I'm going to be back soon. If you guys tune in to Kim every week, look at Belle, kimgravel.com. Thank you so much for this incredible heart that is you and this growing, evolving, beautiful mind who doesn't like worry so much about what people think and knows how to kick your own ass.
That is your podcast right there.
Kick your own ass. I love it.
Kick it, baby.
Thank you so much. Love you, girl. God bless you. I'll talk to you really soon.
Love you too, baby.
Thanks for being here today. My true hope is that each podcast gives you some new perspective, new information, or connection into living that brings you closer to your freedom. And I can't wait to meet you here again for more practice next week.